What's up guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to go through some of my camera settings, the rig that I set up for most of my videos, and kind of how I animate everything and just make it easier, more streamlined. So let's go. So first of all, we're gonna Shift A and add in a camera. I'm gonna hit Alt R just to clear the rotation, and then I'm gonna go Shift A. I'm gonna add 2 empties, and then one more time Shift A, and we're gonna add a circle. All right, so first off, let's grab our camera and then Shift select one of the empties, hit Control P, Object, and so now our camera is parented to this empty here. So wherever we move it, the camera's gonna move. So I'm gonna rename this empty Cam for camera, and then this empty that's not connected to anything, we're gonna call it Cam track, and then our circle, I'm gonna call it Cam path. Next, I'm gonna take the camera empty here, and I'm gonna go over to constraints, and we're gonna go follow path. I'm gonna select our camera path, and that's gonna snap our empty to the camera path. Also, I'm gonna add another constraint, and we're gonna add a track to, and click the eyedropper tool here, and we're gonna go our camera track. And so now you could probably already see what's happening. I'm gonna scale this up. Let me make it a little bit easier to see. I'll just add in a cube here. I'm gonna scale it down. And I'm gonna grab our camera track and Shift select the cube, Control P, and parent it to the cube. And then, so if I go back to my camera here, no matter what I do with the camera path, it's always gonna be pointed at our cube. And I can come into the constraints here on our camera empty, and I can control the offset here, kind of orbit around it. I can grab our cube and move it anywhere I want, and our camera is gonna point at it. So this is really useful for things like if you wanna do a 360 around something. So I can go in here and we'll select our camera empty, and I can just animate this offset path, right? So we'll go frame 1, I can start at 0 and hit I to insert a keyframe, and then Shift right arrow to go to the end of our timeline and go one more over, and then I'll hit something like, I'll just do 100 for a full rotation, and then hit I again. And that's gonna give us our animation. But say you want like something that just kind of goes around it, and you want it to be smooth and seamless, make sure that it's not a Bezier curve like this. And by the way, I'm in the graph editor. To fix this, you want it to be linear. So you notice how it'll slow down, and then when it starts up again, it'll ramp up. We don't want that if we're just doing like an orbit around. So if you hit T in this window, it'll show us all of our interpolation modes, and we just want to select linear if we have both of those keyframes selected. And now you'll notice that it's just a clean, it just keeps going at the same speed, which is what we want. And then the benefit to parenting the camera to an empty is that the empty is pointed at our object, right? Not the camera, technically. So we can grab the camera and still do whatever we want. We can move it, we can rotate it. But if you try to do that with the empty, because of the track 2, you'll notice that we don't have any control over it. We have control over the movement, but not the rotation. And camera rotation is obviously a very important thing. So that's why we parent it to the empty. So we'll just come in and we'll do some rotation keyframes here. And then what I'm gonna do, this is usually what I do here, just to give the camera a little bit more organic feel, is I'll put a noise modifier on each and every one of these. If you don't see this tab, just hit N when you're in this window and it'll pop up. You just go under modifier, and you have to have one of these selected to see it. Otherwise, if you don't, you're not gonna see it. So just select one of them, one of the channels there. Anyways, I'm gonna go scale of 30, strength usually like 0.1 or something, depending on the focal length of the camera. And then what that does is basically just, it gives us some movement, right? And you can come in here and copy this one and paste it here. and then maybe switch up the frame, or I'm sorry, the phase a little bit, so it just gives it a little bit different variation. We can also grab our rotation for the Z-axis, which this is what that looks like, right? Kind of swoops from side to side. Usually what I'll do for this is I'll add keyframes manually, or I'll do something like this, which is just an automated way of doing it. And amplitude 0.4, I'll do maybe like 0.05 on this. And that just kind of sways it from side to side, right? So it just gives it like a little bit more interesting look. Maybe I'll go even a little bit slower. And if you want to, I mean, you could do anything with the camera path. That's kind of like the main controller. You can go this way, that way. You could even parent it to the object. So say you had the object flying through space, right? So I'll add a keyframe here just as an example, and we'll go up. So say it's like a bird flying or something like that you were making a video of. So right now it looks like this, but you don't want it to look like the bird's flying away, right? You want to make it look like the camera's flying with it at the same speed. Instead of having to keyframe everything, you could just grab the circle here and then parent it to the cube. So, I mean, that way they're both rising at the same time. You could still grab the cam path and add as many keyframes as you want, but it'll still fly with that cube if you want it to, right? So, I mean, the possibilities are really endless with this rig. It's really good, really useful. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it, guys. Let me know if there's anything in particular you want to see. Hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.